Hello students, this is Veena, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today we are going to talk about the effectiveness of listening skills. How effective is the role played by the listening skills in our day-to-day communication is our topic for today. Always remember that being an efficient and effective listener, you will be a good speaker as well as you will be having a good command over your communication skills. In what way is it possible? Because if you listen carefully, you will be able to understand the people, their thoughts, their ideas, their expressions and whatever it comes in the way of the communication. To develop the rapport between the people, among the organization, among the team members, it is very important for you all to be the active listeners. So, you must understand the effectiveness of listening skills, the role played by the listening skills in making your communication skills more and more better. Now, let us get started. Here. Now, in today's high-tech, high-speed, high-stress world, isn't it? Am I right or right? You don't have time for others. You don't listen. You just go on talk about the things what you require. But communication is more important than ever. It is your communication with others will make you stand in very good position. It will make you create the rapport between the people, create the rapport between the team members and create good relationship among the core organizations in which you are involved with. Especially when it comes to your professional life, professional platform at your workspace, it is very important to have effective communication skills. And the very first and most quality which you have to imbibe for yourself is be observant and be a keen listener, be an active listener such that you understand the atmosphere around you. You adapt the environment. You know the people, their notions, their thoughts, their feelings. You can be an empathetic listener. You can be a critical listener. Depends on the time to time situation analysis and space. You have to make yourself utilize the good listening skills such that you can develop your communication skills. Genuine listening has become a rare gift, isn't it? We are not at all ready to listen. We only talk. We only talk about our needs and their fulfillment. We never think about others. We never think about listening to others and understanding their way of perception about the things. Of course, we are all busy. Of course, it is very advanced generation. But still, being an attentive and a good listener will be a very good quality for you all to understand the premises, understand the people around you, to develop the rapport and to develop the relationship among the people around the workspace. Then, it helps the gift of time. It is gift of time. I mentioned it as gift of time. Listening is like that. If you are a good listener, remember this always. You will shine in your own place. You will be given that uniqueness, unique position because you have an ear towards all the concerns, towards all the requirements of the organization whenever it is needed. It helps in building relationships, solving problems, ensuring understanding, resolving conflicts and improving accuracy. How effective is listening skill? It is effective in building your relationships, the way you reciprocate, the way you respond, the way you coordinate with others is very important. Then solve problems. Keen listening solves a lot of your problems. It resolves the misunderstandings. It creates and builds that good rapport among the people, and also portrays that positive environment around you. Then it solves problems, ensure understanding. Good listening capacity will ensure that understanding and trust among the people around you. Resolve conflicts. Any kind of conflicts can be solved through this skill, and you can be more accurate, and you can develop that accuracy of good communication skills with the entity of the listening skill ability. Now, at work, effective listening means fewer errors and less wasted time. If your superior is giving command, is giving an order, is giving an instruction, you must be observing him and listening to him keenly, such that you do less errors. Of course, we all make errors. It is because of the not listening capacity. We are busy. We overhear. We cannot, we are not attentive when somebody is instructing towards us. Then when we are about to finish that work, we commit mistakes. So, good listening skills have the capacity to reduce your errors. The fewer errors and less wasted time. If you're committing more errors, then of course you have to spend more time to correct them. So, if you are a good listener, then you will commit fewer errors and also you will not waste your time. Then at home, it helps to develop resourceful, self-reliant kids who can solve their own problems. You can be self-reliant. You can understand your family members such that your family harmony will be balanced and everyone will see you and praise you as the independent kids, and they will praise you for the way you are listening to them and understanding them and working to make the harmony, to generate that harmony and balance in your with your family members. Listening builds friendships and careers. It saves money and marriages. So, listening is the first and foremost element which you all have to get excelled with. Think before you talk. Listen before you talk. Try to understand what people are trying to convey to you. You cannot just go and just say whatever you want or interrupt someone in between. All that will create chaos around you. The way you listen, any kind of listening style, we have already discussed the listening styles, the types of listeners, all those things. Why? Because you have to develop that activity. You have to develop that skill within you. It is very, very important. Developing patience, listening to others will surely create that good positive vibe around you and also create the harmony of balancing your life with good relationships around your workspace as well as in your family. Now let us see, there are some 7 key active listening skills. One is paying attention. You have to pay attention towards the listening. When you're listening to a person, pay attention. Then withholding judgment. Don't just go on give your judgments without completely listening to the others. Just withhold your judgment within you. Whenever it is necessary, whenever somebody is asking you for some suggestion, you can give out your judgment. Then reflecting and paraphrasing. That is giving your reflection and paraphrasing over what you have heard. First, reflect yourself and understand what is said to you, on what note, with what expression is told to you, such that you can develop that rapport within you and then respond to the others who has spoken to you. Then asking questions. If something is not clarified, if you're not sure of what is happening there, try to ask questions. Sought for the clarification such that all your problems will be resolved with less errors. Then requesting clarification, summarizing and sharing. Summarize and then share. So these are all the 7 key listening skills which you have to inculcate and practice, surely your communication will become more and more and more effective. Now, here are 10 tips to help you develop effective listening skills. Now, of course, it is very, very busy area and you don't have time to spend to listen to everyone around you. So we have some tips which you can utilize when somebody is talking to you, when somebody is trying to inform you something or trying to instruct you something. Let us see what are those tips. Face the speaker and maintain eye contact. Eye contact is considered a basic ingredient of effective communication. So, always try to have that eye contact while you are speaking to the other person. It shows your confidence within you. It shows that you are respecting the other person's conversation. It gives him that trust. It makes him feel that you are the trustworthy person to share that information with you. So, develop that eye contact with the other person when you're talking. Now, shyness, uncertainty, shame, guilt, and all other emotions, culture taboos can inhabit. That is, all these can be wiped out with that eye contact. Just leave that shyness, leave that uncertainty, leave that guilt. Try to maintain that eye contact, which will clear all these problems and maintain that rapport, maintain that relationship with the other speaker whom you're talking to. Then, be attentive but relaxed. It's not that if we are asking you to be attentive, just sitting erect and just paying attention like this. No, be relaxed, but be attentive. Put your ear, try to lend your ear to the words, what other person is saying. But be relaxed. Don't be tense. Try to be making yourself patient enough to understand what they are saying. Try to understand the structures of the language, the way of the language is delivered, and in what notion, with what emotion it is delivered. Try to do all these things while being an attentive listener, while being a relaxed person. So don't be in a hurry to barge in or give your conclusion or give your suggestion in between before the other person has not ended up his speech. The important thing while listening is to be attentive. The dictionary says that to attend another person means to be present, give attention, apply or direct yourself, pay attention, remain ready to serve, mentally screen and distractions like background activities. So being attentive is be attentive on all the areas. Okay, applying yourself, making your body language and gesture in such a way that the other person is feeling that you're listening to him. Avoid all sort of distractions which are around you. When you are supposed to listen to someone, pay all the attention. Listen to them carefully. Okay. In addition, try not to focus on the speaker's accent to speech. If it is some important information, try to maintain that rapport of understanding the information rather than the accent, because different people have different accents, because depending on the place they are born and brought up, they are built up with some accent. You cannot judge those accents. You have to understand the prior need or the source of your information, and you are paying attention to grasp that information. Next, keep an open mind. Never ever be a narrow-minded person. Try to think broad. Try to open mind yourself and take the suggestions or the instructions as they are rendered in what kind of mood. Okay, listen without jumping to conclusions. Don't jump to conclusion. Don't preoccupy something with some or the other thing. Okay, try to make yourself understand, then communicate it to others. When they ask you for some suggestion, then give them the suggestion. Don't barge in or don't interrupt in between and go and give your judgment over the speech which you have not heard completely. Okay, remember that the speaker is using language to represent the thoughts and feelings inside her or his brain. If someone is talking to you, always remember it is his thoughts, his ideas, his way of perception of that particular information. So you cannot just make and barge in and give judgmental to and be judgmental towards what they are saying. Of course, you have your own idea, you have your own thoughts, but don't barge in. Try to listen, understand. If that opposite person is asking you for some suggestion, then give him the suggestion. Then listen to the words and try to picture what the speaker is saying. First, pay keen attention to the words, what the speaker is talking to you, in what way it is spoken to you. When listening for long stretches, concentrate on and remember keywords and phrases. If it is a long speech, try to concentrate on the keywords which are often spoken in that particular speech, such that your concentration level will stick to those keywords and you will be able to make yourself interested and being attentive towards that speech. If you are wandering here, if your thoughts are wandering here and there, and if you are unable to pay attention, then that is of no use. Don't interrupt and don't impose your solution. Don't interrupt in between while somebody is talking. This is the most important thing. Try to listen completely. You're not going to barge in and make conclusions. This is the most important thing which you all have to remember as being going to place yourself in that professional scenario where technicalities and scientific advancements are in rigor stage and you have no time to think or do all those sort of things. So try to listen. Don't barge in with your conclusions and make judgments. Understand the situation, understand the environment, and adapt to the environment. Then you talk to others or convey your message to others. Interrupting sends a variety of messages. It says, I'm more important than you are. Of course, if you are interrupting in between somebody's speech, it may may let him think that you are more important than him, isn't it? Then what I have to say is more important, more interesting, accurate or relevant. I don't really care what you think. I don't have time for your opinion. This isn't a conversation. It's a contest and I'm going to win. So these kind of expressions will be given out, will be projected to the other person when you are in between the conversation and giving them some conclusions or judgments or any kind of suggestion. So don't ever go in between and barge in and stop the flow of the other speaker and then talk about it. Then wait for the speaker to pause to ask clarifying questions. Then wait until the speaker pauses and asks you to pose the questions if you have not understood something. In that way, you can then put forth your opinion, your thoughts or your questions, whatever are going in your mind. But not before that. You have to wait until the speaker pauses his conversation. Then ask questions only to ensure understanding. If you have not understood anything, ask questions to make your understanding better, but not to judge someone, not to give conclusion over anything. You are going to ask questions to make yourself understand what is conveyed in that conversation. Then try to feel what the speaker is feeling. Try to understand, try to be empathetic in listening the feelings and the mood and the expression of the speaker. Give the speaker regular feedback. Whenever it is asked, give him the feedback about what is said, how it is said. Is it relevant to that particular situation and time? And for what purpose they have made that speech? Is it catered or not? All this can be done. Pay attention to what isn't said. to non-verbal cues. That is, it is not only important to understand the verbal conversation, but it is also important to understand that non-verbal conversation, that is the way that is expressed through the body language, the gestures, the facial expressions. So remember all these key elements before you barge in or before you respond to others. Be a keen listeners. That's why I have made a slide here. Speak less and listen more. It is more important for the effective learning of your communication skills and also to develop good knowledge over your language skills. You have to listen more rather than speaking more. Then, listening skills exercise. What are the exercises which will help you in making your listening skills more and more better? First one is summarize. Summarize and summarize. You have to go on, review the conversations. You have to go on, summarize the conversation for more understanding, for better understanding of the information which is projected in front of you. If it is a conflict, try to re-understand again and again. Summarize and summarize to bring out some solution for that conflict. For at least 1 week at the end of every conversation in which information is exchanged. Whenever a conversation is important, whenever the information is exchanged, try to summarize it again and again for at least 1 week. Conclude with a summary statement. So, you must have an idea of the information what you have gathered through that particular speech or through that particular written conversation or the oral conversation. In conversations, the result in agreements about future obligations or activities, summarizing will not only ensure accurate follow through, it will feel perfectly natural. So, it is very, very important in terms of your agreements, and whenever you make some agreement, go revise the terms and conditions, revise the rules and regulations, because you have to remember that whenever you are signing an agreement in an organization, you have to revise, summarize the document where you are signing, because you should know what are all the rules, what is the criteria for you to join there, isn't it? So, revise, review and then summarize for the better understanding of your things which are around you. Then, active listening. What are the things which are important in active listening? Hearing content, the content which you hear. Then listening for feeling, the feeling, what is rendered through the speech is more important. Observing body language. Neutral technique, that is, you are not going to be judgmental, you will be neutral in the way of answering. Then paraphrasing, that is, you are going to summarize, keep them in the stepwise order or the logical order and paraphrase it. And then self-awareness, create awareness over the things which you are listening. Try to understand in what sort of situation, time, space they are delivered. Then reflection. How is that you are going to reflect over it? What is the way you are going to present your reflection? All these are very, very important. Then questioning, clarifying technique and summarizing. You will be questioning for the better clarifying, and you will use certain techniques for getting proper clarification over the issues which you have no clarification. Then you can summarize the conversation and try to understand it and then respond back with the other person. Then effective listening skills include these elements for making your communication more better. What are those? Give individual attention. When you are talking to a person, give that individual attention to that person. When you are talking in a group, maintain eye-to-eye contact with each of the person who is in the group. Avoid interruption. Don't try to interrupt. Avoid all the interruptions which will create chaos in that meeting. Respect right to share. As you have right to share, even others have the right to share their own thoughts and ideas. So we are going to provide opportunity. It's not that we will go on talk and somebody is listening. No, sharing. They also have the right to share their own ideas and give you the suggestions. Repress emotional. That is, you are not going to be portraying your emotions in between your workspace. You are going to repress all kind of emotions and being practical, professional when you are talking to the others, especially at the workspace. Then responses. How you take the responses and how you respond to others is also very, very important in making your listening skills effective. Pay attention to non-verbal messages. You have to pay attention towards non-verbal messages which are delivered through the body language, through the gestures, to the facial expressions. Then what are some of the tips for your effective listening? These are the additional tips. We already spoke about some tips which are very, very useful to you in making your listening skills effective. Now we are going to see some more. Look for opportunities to practice listening. Find opportunities. How can you find opportunities? You have plenty of opportunities, isn't it? You can listen to audios. You can listen to people conversations, speeches. You can listen to news, such that your improving skills of listening will be effective. Then reflect on your conversations. As soon as a conversation ends, you don't need to end up it there. You have to reflect over that conversation for more and more better understanding. Then comes focus your conversations on the other person. That is, your focus must be on the other person when he is talking, and then respond and take a chance when he is pausing it and then respond. So your focus must be on the conversation to prevent that listening barrier before the approach conversation with the mindest that you genuinely want to learn more. Then you have to focus on the conversations. Then effective listening is a way of showing concern for subordinates, and that fosters cohesive bonds, commitment and trust. If you are effective listener, of course your superiors will be very, very happy with that, because they will feel that you are lending your ear to them completely. You are listening to them, understanding what it is needed. So that will create a good impression in the workspace. Effective listening tends to reduce the frequency of interpersonal conflict, the conflicts between the people in an organization or in a family. Any kind of interpersonal relations conflicts will be resolved through proper listening, while removing all sort of misunderstandings and creating that quality of assurance and trust among the people can be built only with the effective learning skills. Then, in addition, if you listen to the people you manage, you will learn what makes them tick. That is, you will understand which person will not like what kind of conversation. You will know what will tick that person. Then you can avoid such instances to build your relationship and rapport more and more better. Then effective listening is actively absorbing the information given to you by a speaker. So be active, be attentive, observe all the information from the speaker. Then delivering verbal communication, like writing a newsletter, involving trying to choose the right words. All this is possible only with the effective listening capacity. Effective listeners show speakers that they have been heard and understood. That is, you are giving an indication to the other person that I have heard to you properly and attentively. Now, there are 3 modes of effective listening skills. What are 3 modes? Attentive listening, responsive listening and active listening. You have 3 modes which you have to choose. Is your own option, depends on the situation and the time. Be attentive when you are attending some workshop or some seminars. Be responsive Have the technique, adopt the technique of responsive listening when there is a presentation, when there is some instruction delivered by your authorities, and be an active listener whenever, wherever it is needed. Let us see some of the very important aspects when it comes to attentive listening. It involves genuine concern and interest for understanding a person's point of view. Genuine concern, that is, you are being attentive to listen to the genuine points which are very, very important in that particular case. Learning how to listen attentively is a vital communication skill that has many benefits for both listener and speaker. When it comes to response listening, now it is a small amount of a language such as command, question or greeting. That is, if someone wishes you good morning, what is your response? Good morning. This is responsive listening. That is, when somebody is saying something, you are responding. If you don't respond, it means that you have not heard it. So, be a responsive listener also. It is also very important in the workspace. Then active listening. We are going on talking about active listening, their characteristics, their elements which are very, very important. Now let us just have a revision over it. Action, empathy, meaning and reflection, paraphrasing and asking questions, and the body language. These are the 5 important perspectives you have to make yourself include in active listening. As we have already practiced it and spoke over it many times, it is very, very important for you all have to develop this quality, because it is only the active listening which will place you effective in your workspace. And action, empathy, meaning and reflection, paraphrasing, asking questions, and the body language. These are all the elements which are involved in the active listening. So be keen enough and be attentive enough to listen to others and understand the situation and the position of yourself, and try to respond properly and correctly to your authorities and make your professional life more and more better and gain that success whatever you are aspiring for. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.